Hi, just a quick update here on Friday the 7th of November. I'm starting here with the SPIX, and we can see it was sold hard into Thursday evening. It was still getting sold pretty hard. There was really no buying in the SPIX on Friday, and the positioning might show that. Let's get to the positioning again. SPY saw heavy selling on Thursday and has really seen heavy selling on Friday. The ES, it was where the action was on Friday. It was green. There was a lot of laying off in the ES minis. SPX 500 again, it had reasonably good laying off, but it did sell off into the close. The Qs were the greenest on the day, with some good buying and good buying into the close. Not green by very strong standards, but definitely greener than the other indexes. The NQ again had a green buying day, trying to buy that dip, not knowing when the bottom was going to be. TQQQ sold hard on Thursday, and again it's a little bit amber, flat into Friday at the close. The mags did look like they had big buying in the mags ETF, but they were pretty heavy going in the group liquidity for the Mag 15. If we just have a look at the mags themselves, Apple was reasonably green into the close after dropping 0.5%. At worst, it's going to be up a little bit. As we could see going into the close on Thursday, it was selling, and that's how the positioning came out. Microsoft again, it was only down a tiny little bit. It was pretty flat, a little bit of selling into the day, and it had some good buying. Tesla, some good buying after a big sell into the close on Friday. Meta, the same, a little bit greener. Amber, most likely, might be up a little bit after a very big selling Thursday into the close. Big selling on Amazon into the close, and probably a reasonable selling into the close on Friday as well. Amazon at best is going to be neutral. Google, look, I've got it marked up as green there. It probably isn't really green. It's probably more a little bit stuck in between. Definitely looks like it's bought a little bit into the close, but it still did have some heavy liquidity pulling through. Nvidia, really one of the strongest, with really good buying, finishing up the day after a very heavy Thursday into the close. Let's just have a quick look through the proxies for Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself, in the 15 minutes into the close on Friday, was reasonably strong most of the day in the indexes, but we can see that into the close here it was a pretty solid day, and we did see some buying into the close on Thursday. GBTC had some buying into the close after some heavy selling on Thursday. Again, IBIT was similar. Some selling just started to grain up into the close, but got bought down with the rest of the market. Bitto had some heavy selling or coming through on Thursday, holding it up. Coin, it had a little bit of buying going into the close, but generally was heavier, but it did have a big finish and bought hard into it. But if we look at what's washing through here, we can see quite clearly that we're washing through with some heavier, so it looks like it might see a pullback. It'll be interesting. I think Coin is one of the leading tickers in the market. If let's just have a look at what it's saying. It's saying that it is back into the heavy on the 1 hour. It has got back into the heavy, so even if we do see it jump up, it looks like it's got some impetus there to pull back. If we just have a look at the open interest here in the SPY, the open interest is nice and strong. Closing of in-the-money puts, opening of in-the-money calls. If we see big technology, it looks very similar. We'll just knock in a filter into that, and we can see we had a lot of closing of in-the-money puts, and we had strong opening in the group. Big technology is the Mag 7, very strong opening again, running into a good day. Let's just have a look at what the SPIX say. The SPIX is inclusive of the weeklies and the monthlies. If we just have a look what the SPIX say, the SPIX is holding out. Let's just zoom that in a little bit closer. The SPIX is holding out. It's saying that it's still heavy. Yes, we have had a drop of some 20,000 around at the money, and we can see a similar in the calls. If we open up the call levels here. Let's have a look a little bit closer. We can see that we've had a really strong buying day, but generally we've held out here. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag in the SPIX, which is the heaviest of all the proxies that influence the market. This is the index options. Just have a quick look. We did have a look at the Qs, or we can have another look at the Qs. The Qs again, strong closing of in the money puts and opening of in the money calls. Let's just have a look at one of the leveraged SPXL, see what if it had a different picture for the day. Here we can see it's had a little bit of closing in the money calls and some strengthening in the money puts, and it's had quite a strong buy in the DPI. Support of its ticker. Let's go and have a look at its ticker. Here we can see again very supportive, strong closing of in the money puts and opening of in the money calls. So let's expect a bounce on Monday. If we just cross over and have a quick look through, I set up here for just having a look at where Bitcoin is. Here in the daily, Bitcoin has dropped back into a buy situation after this weekend here, and we can see it's looking like a pretty good chart at the moment. But also in the daily we can see that it's after a few days of really wrangling on that edge. The irregular group of Bitcoin futures does look like it's pulling up to almost flat. Are we going to see it getting into a selling position? We will only find out tomorrow morning when we wake up and see what's going on. If we have a look at Coin, which is the other indicator that I like for this part of the market, it's had quite a nice retrace of a extension down here to the 618. If we have a look at the 1 hour, that should give us a bit of an idea. Sorry, it's just taking a while counting through all the data, and we can see in the 1 hour that it is looking reasonably heavy into the close. Bitcoin futures, probably better to have a look at what the mags were saying to us. Keeping the same hours. The mags have been having quite a bit of a sell-off over the last week. Sorry, it's just taking a little bit of time. Here we go. So we can see that into the close, after having quite a good period, the mags has ended up selling quite hard and hasn't really bought into the open. So I don't think that bodes well for a really big day on Monday, but I don't think we're going to get any pullbacks. The open interest has changed a lot, and the open interest is looking very positive. Anyway, I hope you have a good Sunday and a great week's trading. This is my short version. If you want a longer version of the update, including focus stocks, have a drop in and have another look tomorrow evening, being Sunday evening. Thank you very much.